my beautiful lovers of the world, it is me, Queen Nightmare, and I hope you guys check out my vlog for my first week. If you want me to do another vlog for a whole another week, please go check it out. I will put a link in the description below. But let's get on to chapter number, what? The chapter number 6, but there was this one, fan who, commented, said, "Oh, you guys are gonna love the next chapter," and I'm like, shh, spoilers! I quote Doctor Who a lot, so, and they said, "Spoilers is my middle name," and I went, no! I'm an idiot, but you know what? Forget it. Chapter 6, third person POV. Poor kitty. That was my response. It must have sounded really bad. It was finally the day that the kids were leaving for Hogwarts. Harry, of course, woke up late because he, yet again, had another nightmare. The night before. He groggily made his way downstairs in his sweatpants and messy hair. He was alone in the kitchen, so he trudged over to the coffee pot. Draco walked in behind Harry. "Watch where you're walking, Potter. I just mopped the floor," Draco hissed. Harry was walking around the kitchen with his socks on. "Sorry, Malfoy," Harry muttered. "Would you get ready? We have to take the kids to King's Cross in an hour," he stressed. Harry just groggily nodded and turned around to face the blonde, forgetting the coffee. "Relax, I'm going," he retorted with his hands up in defense. He took one step and slipped on the wet floor. He fell forward, knocking into the blonde man and landing on top of him. Draco looked at Harry, annoyed, as Harry put both his hands on either side of Draco to push him off. "Sorry," Harry mumbled. He looked into Draco's eyes, and their eyes locked. He found himself slowly leaning down, and his eyes crossing as Draco did the same, but leaning towards Harry. Once their lips locked, they molded themselves together, moving and synced perfectly. Draco licked the bottom of Harry's lip, and Harry opened it. They fought for dominance, until Harry won and he explored Draco's mouth. Draco's hands found their way into Harry's messy locks. Dad, where did you... Whoa, Scorpius said. Harry jumped off at Draco with his face flushed. Draco stood up as well. We were just, Harry stuttered. "Hey, I don't really care," Scorpius said. "As long as you two are happy." Harry blushed deeply. I'm going to take a shower. I'll be quick." He scampered. Okay. I would have said scrambled. Because scrambled eggs and it's breakfast time. Sorry. Because I'm an idiot. Out of the room, Draco gave the eye to Scorpius. "You do not speak a word of this to anyone. You understand me?" Draco said. "Why, it's not a big deal, Dad," Scorpius said. "You just made out with Harry freaking Potter." Scorpius, "He's one of the most famous wizards, and not to mention he's hot," Scorpius explained. "Just Go get your trunk, Scorpius, Draco said, rubbing his temples. Scorpius ran upstairs and smirked when he got into his new shared room. Guess what? What? Ted asked, stuffing the remaining stuff in his trunk. My dad and Harry just made out. Scorpius smiled. Made out? Like with tongue? He questioned, and Scorpius nodded, smiling. That's great. He high-fived his best friend. The two boys made their way down the stairs, both wearing smug looks. Draco noticed this, and he frowned. What did I say? He shouted. Ted isn't anyone. He could be your stepson. Scorpius smiled, causing Draco to blush. Do you have everything you need? Draco inquired, changing the subject. Who is meowing? Is it you, Shadow? You guys are welcome in my room if you need anything. My goodness. Sorry. The meowing didn't stop, so I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Okay. Picked up some diamond on my bead, or it will actually stick to my body, and then I'll wake up with diamond art on my butt. Yes, I do. Thank you for letting me stay here, Mr. Draco, Ted said. Of course, Ted. I don't know what it is with my throat. I just had a root beer float. Not that root beer float. Don't ever look that up. I looked it up once and I was like, who the heck would eat that? Ugh. Ugh. Sorry. Of course, Ted. Oh, wait. Of course, Ted, Draco replied. A few minutes later, Harry made his way downstairs and Ted catcalled him. Ted! Harry spat. Sorry, Harry. Ted frowned. Are you guys ready? Draco asked and everyone nodded. They decided to take a car into the train station, so they packed up their trunks in the back and set off. Draco was driving and Harry was in the passenger seat as the two boys sat in the back. Subconsciously, Draco and Harry both reached for each other's hand. When their hands finally met, Scorpius gasped. Ted! He whispered loudly. They both pulled away quickly and blushed. Draco looked in the rear view mirror and glared at his son. Scorpius just smirked and causing his dad to blush. Draco paid attention to the road and continued driving. Once they reached King's Cross, they went through the usual 9 3/4 and got to the Hogwarts Express. Now remember to behave, Draco nagged Scorpius. He gave him a hug goodbye and kissed his head. Should I tell you something? Should I tell you the same thing? Scorpius winked and Draco's eyes widened. Scorpius jumped on the train before his father could grab him. Harry kissed and hugged Ted goodbye. Don't forget your owl if you need anything, Harry told him, and he nodded. Bye, Dad. I love you, Ted smiled. I love you too, Ted. Harry grinned, and Ted jumped onto the train to find Scorpius. Draco and Harry waved goodbye to them from the platform, and they started to walk off. Wait, Dad, I forgot. Scorpius jumped off the train, and Draco met him near out of Harry's earshot. What's wrong, Scorpius? Draco asked. You might need this. He handed Draco a condom and smirked. Where did you get this? Draco asked, stunned. The train's whistle went off and Scorpius started to get on the train. Bye, Dad, he yelled. As he hopped back on the train started moving, and Draco walked back over to Harry. Everything okay? Harry asked, so Draco showed Harry the condom. Just my son being a smartass. He shook his head and Harry smiled. Well, at least he wants us to be safe, Harry laughed. Draco just shook his head and put the condom in his pocket. He grabbed Harry's hand and they walked out. They walked to the car. Could we make a pit stop? There's someone I want to see. Yeah, sure. They let go of each other's hands in the car. When they got to the car, Harry directed Draco where to go. Who lives here? Ted's grandmother. Harry's POV. Ted's grandmother, I said. He nodded and got out of the car with me. We started towards the house. We held hands, and I was in front of him going down the path. Before we got to the door, he pulled me back and kissed my lips. I kissed him back and let out a deep breath. What was that for? Good luck, he smiled. I smiled and we walked to the door. I knocked a couple of times before a tall woman with grey hair answered. She smiled when she saw me. Hello, Harry. She nodded. Hello, Andromeda. May I talk to you for a few? I asked. Whoops, sorry. I went into a weird accent. Of course, my dear Harry. She allowed us inside and Draco smiled at her. Hi, Aunt Andromeda. Andromeda. It's been a while. Draco told her and she grinned. Hugging Draco tightly, she whispered something into his ear before she pulled away and kissed his cheek. Smiling, all three of us went into the living room and took a seat. Harry, let me say I'm sorry to hear about Ginny. Andromeda mentioned, and I smiled sadly. It's all right. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be. I shrugged and frowned. We're staying with Draco and his son Scorpius. It's Ted's best friend. Oh, very nice. They left this morning. She smiled. Yep. Let me redo that. Oh, very nice. She smiled. They left this morning? Yep. Just got on the train, I smiled. That's very nice, but I don't think you came to tell me he's off for another year. Now, what are you thinking, my dear boy? Well, it is about Ted, I started. I was thinking I could maybe adopt him. It came out as more of a question. If the question surprised her, she didn't let it show. She grinned widely. Well, he does live with you for the majority of the time. I'm not getting any younger, too, she said. And I trust you'll bring him around to see me. Yes, of course, anytime you want. You're a big part of his life. Well, I think it's a great idea. You do? Did I go into Welsh there for a second? I asked, hopeful. Yes, I think it'll be great for him. She smiled. We can go to the ministry as soon as possible. I'll revoke my guardianship. This way you can adopt him. I smiled and gave her a hug. Thank you so much. Of course, Harry. She patted my back. When is good for you? She asked. Any time. How about now? She asked, and my eyes widened. Yes, I almost shouted, and she smiled. Then let's go. She got up. I grabbed Draco's hand, got up, and followed Andromeda outside. We walked to the car and got in the back as Draco drove with Andromeda as the passenger. Once we got to the ministry, Andromeda and I got out. I'm going to stay here, Draco announced. They aren't too fond of my kind, he explained, and I nodded. I took Dora by the hand and we went into the ministry. Harry Potter, it's nice to see you, some lady said to me. How can I be of assistance? I would like to adopt my godson, I replied. I forgot we're not in the third person. All right, so I'll send you to the fifth floor, and you can deal with them up there. She smiled. I nodded and walked over to the elevator, going up with Dora. Sorry, that was a lot to read. How did it go? Wait, I need to have the Draco voice. How did it go? Draco asked, smoking a cigarette outside. No wonder he sounds rough. I walked over to him and took the cigarette from him. It went well. Come Christmas, he'll be my son. I smiled, taking a puff of the cigarette. He smiled and hugged me. Congratulations, Harry. I blew out the smoke and threw out the cigarette. Thanks, Draco. We got in the car and drove Andromeda home. Why did we go back to Andromeda, then Dora? Weird. I gave her a big hug and kiss before she left, thanking her immensely. With tears in her eyes, she told me that Ted deserved me as a father. I nearly teared up, and with one last kiss on the cheek, Draco and I drove back home. Are you hungry? I can make dinner. Oh, wait. Are you hungry? I can make dinner, I offered to Draco in the kitchen. No! My life was ruined. Someone ruined my life. Damn it. I'm sorry. Someone, go back up. No! Why are we on chapter 7? Wait, no. Stay. An ad played. No. Stay. I'm sorry. Are you hungry? I can make dinner, I offered to Draco in the kitchen. He grabbed both my hands in his, and the sparks were back. How about we go out for dinner? He smiled. Like as a date? I asked, stuttering. Well, let me fix that. Like as a date? I asked, stuttering. He smirked and looked me in the eyes. Man, Potter, your nervous stutter is still cute. He laughed. Yes, we can call it that. I love that. Woof. It went away. I'm sorry. That must sound disgusting. I just have allergies. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you like, comment, and if you haven't, subscribed and put on push notifications to be updated every time I post, and it's mostly just fan fiction, unless I do another vlog. Can you hear my grandma in the background? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Wait, I just said that. You know how bad my memory is. Well, guys, if you haven't yet, check out my blog and tell me what you think. Please, I really need to know. Be happy, be healthy, and always be loving. Please always be loving. Don't judge people.